I see you. Die hard. Trap. We gonna do this one the right way. We in here forever. Yeah. Die hard. Homie, die hard. You can check the swag, he the realest by far. Swimming in that blue and orange, he the lifeguard. Yeah, he been through pain, at least he got some nice scars. He can smell a trophy, yeah, you need it back to back. Represent himself, his own name is on his back. 10 toes down, try to stop him, he come back. Bandwagon hoppers, he will knock you off your tracks. You ain't saying nothing, Nero been here from the start. He been working in the lab to take his team and make it art. See him going over film to help him build and make him smart. He will tell you how he feels because he's real and he got heart. He will never fade away, he will never change his face. Everybody picking faves and he's feeling out of place. Cause he is for the team and he always rep the squad. Like that Christmas movie, he gon' always die hard. City on my back. They ask me what's my name and it's on my back. I'm just speaking facts. We got big dreams, we ain't looking back. We be really die hard, yeah, that's a fact. We be really die hard, ain't no going back. Make the whole crowd rise like a thermostat. Fourth quarter, I'm the killer that's gonna murder that.
What's good, guys? It's your boy Eru, host of the Knicks podcast. I'm here doing a late show. This looks like it might be my time slot for now, man, because I just come in from work, like I said, working my little 12 hours, come in, hang out with the kids and stuff. So I get a chance to be with them, talk to my wife and that type of stuff. And then I can really get into this Knicks stuff, man. So look out for me around this time. I'm going to try to figure that out. For those that are following me, please, if you don't follow me, please follow me. But if you are following me on YouTube, I will be posting in the community tab to explain this whole new 10 o'clock time slot and stuff, man. But yeah, man, we're gonna talk some Knicks. I got some something to talk about as far as Mitchell Robinson. You guys already know I don't like the guy, so check out my man Tough Love here. Tough Love, you do a clothing line, right? So yeah, Tough Love Apparel. You can follow him on Instagram. Same thing, Tough Love Apparel on Instagram, and he has various different stuff on there, man. You can check him out. You can DM him. He accepts PayPal and Cash App, man. So this is my guy here. We always talking Knicks with each other on Instagram and stuff like that, man. So please follow him on Instagram, check out his merchandise, and see if you can support that, man. But me and Tough Love were talking about Mitchell Robinson today too, man. It's just the whole injury thing. I feel like every year, it's not like I feel like literally every year he has a season-ending injury, or he just has a major injury that he takes up like a lot of time, in the schedule. Shout out to the year that we made it to the playoffs. He was out for the second half of the year. Nerlens Noel held it down, and then we got Mitchell Robinson finally in the playoffs and stuff. But he just stranglehold the whole season with his injuries and stuff. Why he gets injured? Because he's too wild and erratic. He does things that he shouldn't be doing. He like simply boxing out, will save his life. You know what I'm saying? Simply trying to lay it up rather than trying to power dunk everything, and throwing his body every which way. In year 5, he should not be doing any of that stuff. He should be much more clean in all of his movements, all of the things that has to do with basketball. He should be so much more clean now. But up until this day, man, 5 years into the league, this guy is still acting like he just came into the league. So it's crazy, man. So I already shouted out Tough Love. Once again, follow him on Instagram, Tough Love Apparel. You can find him on Instagram, like I said. Shout out to Angel Torres here, hanging out here. I see some Boricua action. We got Trish D. Just about to close out for something, but glad I saw this. Yeah, man, I'm glad you guys are tuning in. Miss Geraldine is here hanging out a little bit today. We got Almighty always fuck with me with that OG Anginoli stuff, man. It's possible that we can get him, but this is not that type of show, man. I mean, we might talk about that later on. Mr. Mike K is here. So like I said, we're gonna talk about Mitchell Robinson. Let's get that out on the screen here. Mitchell Robinson, man. Like I said, he's always hurt. Here's another thing too, man. Somebody like him, man. It's 2023. Why does he look like 1973? Look at the beard, look at the hair. Like he needs to do better. He needs to do better overall, man. Everything that he does. One thing that he does, to bring it back to basketball, every time he gets the ball, he always drops his whole body to the ground. So that's the cardinal sin of being a tall guy. Like you bring the ball down to where the little guys are, and that's what leaves him susceptible to get slapped in his hands all the time. So he needs to be able to protect himself. It would have been nice to have veterans on the team that can help him with that type of thing, help him to learn whatever. Okay, of course, Taj Gibson was here, but how much did he learn from Taj Gibson? You could see in Mitchell Robinson's game that he absolutely learned nothing from Taj Gibson. So I mean, what was the point of having him here if he wasn't going to teach him anything, man? But anyway, here we are, year 5 with Mitchell Robinson, and I'm dissatisfied, man. So I mean, the thing with Mitchell Robinson, I understand that he brings a skill set. He brings block shots. He can rebound. You know what I'm saying? Block shots, and then dunking. That's really it. He's an athlete. There's nothing else that he really does to the squad. It's like when he comes in, it's like, oh no, Mitchell Robinson's back in. Not nobody. But he does alter shots. So I will talk about this. Right, we just finished playing against the Wizards, but we played against the Wizards in Washington on Friday. So in that game, Mitchell Robinson actually intimidated Kristaps plenty of times. Kristaps was trying to drive, and Mitchell Robinson was definitely keeping him out the paint. The problem is that Mitchell Robinson can't guard the perimeter, that well. So Kristaps got a chance to get out there and shoot those threes and stuff to take advantage of Mitchell Robinson. You know what I'm saying? But just internally going into the paint, Mitchell Robinson does his job there. So what that tells me is it just says that we just need another layer. Hartenstein was supposed to be that guy. So we'll talk about Hartenstein in a second. Jericho Sims is supposed to be developing as also. He's a little older. He's not 18. He's not 19. Jericho Sims is in his 20s, man. So the guy's old enough to drink. You know what I'm saying? So, it is what it is, man. These guys need to get better. I love the way Jericho throws his body around. People are afraid of him too. Shout out to Kristaps too. Kristaps was playing against Jericho. And he was like, whenever Jericho's out there, you gotta like watch for him because he's so strong that you could feel his strength and you don't want to get hit by him because you feel like he's gonna break something. He's gonna break your hand or something like that as well. You know what I'm saying? So Jericho does bring that aspect to the game. But all that says to me is that he's just a situational player. Same thing with Deuce McBride. These guys are situational guys. So the Knicks need to get off of the situational, man. We have our starters that are playing 40 minutes, every single night, especially when we need to win games. Except the last game, Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau, all of a sudden, you don't want to play the guys 40 minutes. It's like ridiculous. If Tom Thibodeau would have played the guys 40 minutes the last game, we might have won. So anyway, that's another story for another pod too. But let's move forward on this one. Let's look at the actual video of how he hurt himself here. So shout out to New York basketball. That's on Twitter. That's NBA underscore New York. If you're not following him on Twitter, I don't know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Because he's like a vital part of this whole Knicks universe stuff. So let's just watch this clip here. Let's make sure that I turn the sound off. But let's just watch this clip here. Just see Mitchell Robinson in the middle of the screen there. This is him. That's how he hurt his hand. Little freak thing, he just got cracked on his hand there. He's never aware of anything that's going on. He just got his hands out. He doesn't do anything with purpose. Other guys in the NBA that have basically the same amount of years, maybe a little bit more, they don't get hurt like this. They know how to protect their body. They know how to move around. Shout out to JaVale McGee. JaVale McGee was always shacked in a fool and that type of thing. But JaVale McGee's became a really good player. Look at this. I'll just rewind this here. So this type of play annoys the hell out of me. So this is what I was saying before. As soon as he gets the ball, like Mitchell Robinson immediately puts the ball on the ground. So we got some issues here. So here we go. Watch Mitchell Robinson. The shot is up. He gets the rebound, immediately puts the ball down, and then spins around and then tries to blindly dunk the ball. Then he falls down. Didn't he just hurt his hand? He just hurt his hand and he already like trying to bang it like that. He has no regard for his body. He doesn't know how to play. You know, so my thing too, like he had hand surgery. Look at that. It's ridiculous. He was so blindly, he didn't know where the rim was. He just spent around and just dunked it. So to me, that's ridiculous. But for other fans that call themselves diehards like me, or like call themselves diehards, think that's a good basketball play. Oh, he's a beast. We'll get into that again, because I keep bringing up the stats to show people how much of a beast he really is, and people still don't listen to logic about Mitchell Robinson. So I'm going to say it again. Mitchell Robinson does bring something that we can use. But like I said, is he somebody that we can rely on to be our everyday starter? For 5 years in the NBA, the answer is no. 5 years in the NBA, the answer is no. Okay, so let's take a look at what Michael Scotto was saying here. This is Kristaps. But let's talk about Kristaps for a moment. Kristaps got a chance to finally have that interview because he's been ditching us for like the last few years since he's been off the Knicks. But he's been ditching us, man. But you can see, Kristaps, He has the facial hair going. He's definitely like a different person. He's older. At the time when he was with the Knicks, he was 18. You know, just turned 19, 20. That type of thing. So he was super young, super skinny, trying to figure out whatever, listening to his brothers and that type of thing. But as you can see now, you don't see his brothers too much with him anymore. He's kind of like handling himself. You can even tell by the way he dresses and stuff like that. He's just a different dude. So I just gonna play what he said because I think it's important. So this is about a minute and 12 seconds. So I'll just let it play. Hopefully you guys can hear it. Hopefully the audio is playing here. So let's get it going. So anyway, he basically repeats himself again later on in the thing there, but he at least he admits that he posted or he said we can't hear it. So you can't hear it. So he basically was talking about the cryptic tweets and stuff like that he posted, but he acknowledges it. At least he acknowledged the fact that that's what happened. He posted cryptic tweets and it was just really weird, but he was young. He also admitted in this interview that that he was young. He's older now. He's definitely different. So my thing is right. Since Mitchell Robinson can't be relied upon to be the starting center because he simply cannot. He simply doesn't have a basketball IQ. He doesn't know how to stay on the floor. He doesn't know how to protect his body. None of that stuff, man. So we need to get somebody else in here to help him out. Like I said, Hartenstein was supposed to be that guy, but a guy like Kristaps, would you take Kristaps back on the roster? Right off the bat, Almighty Finesse is like my connection to the young fan base because all the young fan base says the same dumb shit that he says here on this channel all the time. Your mistakes are whack. They're whack because my thing is people say that Mitch Robinson's a beast. When people say that he's a dominant defensive player, yeah, sometimes he could be dominant, but oftentimes he's not. For somebody that could be considered a beast or dominant defensively, rebounding and stuff like that, they need to do it every night. Mitchell Robinson does it when he feels like it. You know what I'm saying? He's sometimey, and he usually preys on the weak against teams that don't really have a center. That's when he decides to play well. You know what I'm trying to say. So stick around at Mighty Finesse, man. Maybe you'll learn a different perspective, other than just the same crabs in the barrel NBA takes that people say all the freaking time about Mitchell Robinson. So anyway, Chris Porzingis. Let's get into him a little bit. We all know his stats. He averaged 18, I think, before he left the Knicks. He got to uh 22 actually before he got hurt. He was averaging 22, 6 rebounds, 1 assist. He never really got many assists. 2.4 blocks. So we all know that he could block shots. When he gets to Dallas, he became a 20-point a game scorer. So basically, every year in his career since then, which has only been 3, 4 years now, he's been averaging 20 points per game for the 4 years. Basically, 8 rebounds per game. Still, the assists are about the same. Recently, his assists got up to 2. His steals are up now, and also his blocks are basically the same, 1.5. His percentages have been great across the board. For somebody that shoots threes and that type of thing, you see the 2-point field goals is 53%. That's decent. 34% from three, that's decent too, man. For somebody that plays center, free throws 81%. So all those percentages are decent. Field goal percentage total is 47. For someone that shoots threes as a big man, that's decent. You know what I'm saying. So I mean, he is a good basketball player. One thing about Kristaps is that you can't give him the ball and tell him to get a basket. But the beautiful thing about that is that he usually scores these 20 points, and he's been doing it his entire career. And we know that for him from when he played with us is that he can score off the ball. So that's very important. Also too, we have Julius Randle there that creates a lot of space. RJ needs a little bit more space inside too. So taking Mitchell Robinson out of there, they're just standing in the paint, waiting for somebody to throw him alley oop. Take him out the paint sometimes and have Kristaps out there that can shoot the three and that type of thing, and then it would be more effective. So my thing is like, how do we get Kristaps here if that was even possible, right? So I mean, check out his salary. His salary is kind of moderate. It's not really as crazy as you would think. I can never find the salary thing whenever I look this stuff up. So I see the team salary. So okay, here we go. This is on Chris Kristaps' salary here. This is current contract. He's making $33 million this year. Due to what he does, 22 points per game, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block, 1 steal. I mean, yeah, 1.5 blocks and 1 steal or whatever. That's decent production for the money that he's being paid, $33 million. So can we get him this year? It's possible. If we could put together a package to get a Kristaps here. They're probably gonna want their draft pick back that we have of theirs. They might actually want another one to go with it. But if like we already know that we can basically trade for any player that we want. Based off that Donovan Mitchell trade. If we really wanted Donovan Mitchell, we could have gotten him. So the story goes, man, we should be able to trade for Kristaps. We got Cam Reddish is not playing. We got Fournier that's not playing. We got Dirk Rose is not playing. And like I said, we got the draft picks. Obi Toppin's not playing. So we got plenty of players that we could package together to throw in there to get a Kristaps here. Like I said, will Kristaps help us? Absolutely. He will come in there. I like the idea of having, like I said, of Julius, RJ, and then also you got Brunson and then Kristaps in the mix there. I like that as a starting five because it brings the balance. But like I said, we didn't trade Mitch in this deal. So Mitchell Robinson is still there. So when Mitchell Robinson is healthy again, he'll be a supreme tandem with Kristaps in there back and forth. You got the defense coming off the bench. What I'm saying, now he could be as reckless as he wants because Kristaps is the center. And then Kristaps would do his thing. I just think that would be so much better for us, spacing wise on the club, and it would definitely alleviate a lot of pressure. Because when that ball swings around, at least we know that Kristaps is going to be a plus player to be able to score the basketball rather than be looking for someone else to take the ball. You know what I'm saying? Leave that to Grimes. Let Grimes be the guy that doesn't want to shoot it. That let him be the glue guy, and then guys that really want to shoot it, like Kristaps, Julius, RJ, and Brunson, let them take care of the offense, and I think that would just make us so much better. So I mean, I doubt that's gonna happen, but he is on a player option next year, so he's basically a free agent right now. So he can accept the qualifying, his player option and I accept the 36 million. If he doesn't want to be on the Wizards, maybe that's the reason why he gave those interviews with the Knicks because he's trying to angle himself to come back. You never know. So listen, all the stuff that happened before, I was upset about it before, but time has passed. You know what I'm saying? That it's all about the Knicks trying to get the best club out there to play basketball. So if he was to get Kristaps in this type of trade, I would be fine with it. Here's a reminder: Brunson actually played with Kristaps, man. So this is a YouTube short, so it's not as good as let's say like a regular video, but just let's take a look at it. This is just a basic pick and roll play here. As you can see, Kristaps has it, gets it back to Brunson. Simple pick and roll, comes around the screen, throws it up to Kristaps, and Kristaps just lays it up nicely there. So I mean, they have that ESP. Brunson averaged, I think, 12 points that year that he played with Kristaps. He averaged 12 points. Kristaps did what he did, 20 points and his normal stuff like that. So they did have a chance to play with each other. So they do have that rapport. I don't know if they had a good relationship with each other. That's a whole nother story. But they did play with each other. So if he came here, there would be some kind of familiarity. So it wouldn't be something that we would have to have a huge learning curve. So I think Kristaps, like I said, since he doesn't require plays call for him. He can score 20 points without any plays call for him. So that I think that's a plus thing. So I mean that's something just to put into the mental thing there that Kristaps is probably available on this Washington club, because they're literally not going anywhere. I don't know what they're doing over there. Shout out to Traby Ryan, man. Traby Ryan, he's the guy that they've actually made the Knicks, the Die Hard Knicks theme song. So shout out to him, man. Did a really good job with that. But he does a really good job with his Knicks takes, man. A lot of people give him a lot of flack on Twitter with his Knicks takes. But if you could read this one, it says, if I'm the Knicks, I'm throwing some picks at San Antonio for I can never get his name right. Jacob Pulte. I can never get his name correctly, man. But you guys know who he is. He plays for San Antonio, a good center. So there was a short list of guys that I wanted to replace Mitchell Robinson. Isaiah Hartenstein was one of them. And a guy like this, Jacob, Pulte, whatever his name is, he's one of those guys too. But I like this guy Jacob for the simple fact that he's physical. He's so physical. If you watch him play, I don't have any highlights. Do I have any highlights here? Yes, I do have a highlight here. So let's play this highlight of Pulte. Push play. Just make it a little bit bigger so you guys can see it. So I'm just watching him here. The boxing out, able to push off. See, like he's a feisty guy there, able to push guys off and still tap the ball in. Mitchell Robinson can't do that, man. Yeah, I don't care what you say. Watch him underneath the basket. Playing possum was able to get in there and block shots. So listen, there's other people in this league that could block shots besides Mitchell Robinson. That's all I have to say about that. A couple things here. You're gonna catch him hanging here. Here he goes underneath the basket, able to seal this guy off. And then finish on the inside. Mitchell Robinson can't do that. Just a simple bounce. Seal the guy off with your body, and then turn around and lay it up. He just simply can't do that. Here he goes coming across the other side, able to finish it. Everything is a dunk with Mitchell Robinson. Sometimes you don't have to do that. Here he goes bringing the ball up the court. Able to see the floor, get past the ball and stuff like that. Mitchell Robinson simply doesn't do that. His guys on the floor, he comes down there to celebrate with them. Mitchell Robinson doesn't do that either. You know, it's just crazy. But I mean, him being able to seal off his man, to make simple plays like hook shots in the lane, he simply just doesn't do that, man. So, I would welcome a guy like this. I thought Hartenstein could do this, but Hartenstein, he's more into I mean, we all know that. I don't need to talk about Hartenstein. Teardrops in the lane, he doesn't really do too many hook shots. Very clunky out there. I thought he was a little bit more, had a little bit more finesse to his game, but he's a little bit little clunky. But this kid right here, this guy right here, he's a really special center. So if he was to be able to get him, I think that would be excellent. So let me get off of this here. And let me see what was happening here. Okay, so I just wanted to take a look at some statistics here. So it said Mitchell Robinson is playing so great, right? So let's click Mitchell Robinson and then let's click Hartenstein, right? So only show select roles. We'll do that. So these are these two guys here. First off, right? Let's look at the minutes per game. 26 minutes per game for Mitchell Robinson, 18 minutes per game for Hartenstein. One guy's a starter, 37 starts. Hartenstein had 7 starts, right? 3-point percentage, there's no hit on there. Hartenstein doesn't get many attempts at the three. One excuse me, point 0.7 per game, so he doesn't really get that many attempts. The meat and potatoes of this conversation is this here. Hartenstein is not the shot blocker that Mitchell Robinson is, but if he was to speed up these minutes here, 18 to 26, Hartenstein would have over 1 block per game if his minutes were the same as Mitchell Robinson's. Look at the rebounding. Rebounding is 8.9 to 6. Okay. So Mitchell Robinson is not that much of a better rebounder than Hartenstein. Hartenstein can rebound too. Like I said, if he was to ramp up these minutes, from 18 to 26, then Hartenstein's minutes would be basically the same. Rebounds would be almost the same. Check out the offensive rebounds, 2.7 and 4.3. So Mitchell Robinson is this great offensive rebounder, but he gets 4 per game. Defensively, 4.6. So I mean, like we talking about, oh man, he's such a dominant offensive rebounder, but we're talking about 4 in a 48-minute game, 4 offensive rebounds, and everybody's crying about that, how great that is. To me is just bugged out. So I'm gonna look at the 36 minutes per game. So you're gonna have to bear with me with this because I don't think they allow you to do the one line thing. But they're right next to each other. So this is the 36 minutes. I guess they do it. Let me see if that works. All right, so yes, they do that. So this is for the 36 minutes here. So let's check out the stats. 9.7 for Mitchell Robinson per 36, 9.9 for Hartenstein. It's about the same. Blocks per game, 1.4, 2.4. Mitchell Robinson is obviously the better shot blocker, but that's no here, no there. The assists are about the same, and their rebounds are exact. The rebounds are identical, fam. 11.9, 11.9 total rebounds, 6 defensive rebounds for both of them, and 5.8 and 5.3 offensive rebounds for both players per 36. You know what I'm saying? In the beginning of the year, when Mitch Robinson was hurt and Hartenstein was actually starting those 7 games, Hartenstein was averaging 6 offensive rebounds at the time. So listen, man. There's a lot of fake shit out there. Shout out to Almighty Finesse that keeps saying the same dumb shit all the time. But when it comes down to the numbers are in your face. Isaiah Hartenstein and Mitch Robinson are basically the same kind of player. In other words, Mitch Robinson is not that good. He's a situational backup center that people are glorifying him just for the simple fact that he was a homegrown guy, and people expect him to be Bill Russell. He's not fucking Bill Russell, man. He's not Bill Russell. He's too silly to be that. He doesn't know the game. He keeps getting hurt. He doesn't have any intangibles that helps the squad out. So it is what it is, man. I just wish people would get off of it already. So doing a lot of talking here, man. I see a lot of people coming in and out of the chat and stuff like that. So I'll get to you guys in a second. I just checked out the thing. But here's one player before we get out of here. Before I finish my points here, there's one person here that I want to point out. You see, this is Boogie Cousins, man. So Boogie Cousins, we all know him. For one point of his career, when he was in his peak, he was averaging, damn near 25 points per game almost, and freaking 11 rebounds. Probably more rebounds than that. 3 assists. Damn near 2 blocks per game. You know what I'm saying? It's just filling up the stat sheet, and he was shooting threes at a high clip as well. So I mean, this guy it was awesome. One thing about this guy is that even though he's been hurt and stuff like that, he's been taking care of his body and stuff. We're getting close to the 10-day contract era of the season. So he might pick up a 10-day contract and stuff like that. With Mitch Robinson out, we absolutely need to take a look at this guy because we don't like a lot of people don't trust Hartenstein. Okay, fine. But we don't trust Jericho Sims either. Even though those guys are kind of adequate, how can we get better to make the team better? In the same way that Kristaps could provide the 3-point shooting, DeMarcus Cousins can do the same thing. For him to be a glue guy to be able to pass, he can do that, run the floor and that type of thing. DeMarcus Cousins can do that. You want to talk about an enforcer, somebody that can help out in that way? DeMarcus Cousins can do that as well. So it's just something to think about. But while we're thinking about it, let's just take a look at his highlights here. This is Instagram, of course, so it's a little bit warped. So you guys can see the highlights here on the left hand side. He's still same DeMarcus, talking shit. Here he goes here shooting threes. Of course, this is a pickup game, but this is a pickup game with NBA players. A lot of NBA players here on this court. Him shooting threes. I want to get into some of these dribble moves that he does. Here he goes behind his back, pulls up for three. He has some dribbling moves here too. This is just him shooting threes at the moment. So I might have to click the okay. Here goes the action here. Him driving the lane, dunking, step back 3-point shots. Might have to click the other video. I think the other video had a little bit more dribbling. Here he goes coming around the screen, pulls up, knocks that down. So I mean, somebody that has the ability to knock down threes at this level, is something that we just don't have. Here he goes behind the back, going full court, doing a lot of dribbling. Mitchell Robinson keeps doing that in the offseason, but this guy actually can make something happen. There he goes, kicking it out to the outside for the three, pulling up for three again. Let me check the other highlight. There's another highlight here. Is this one here? This is him playing with Isaiah Thomas. I think there's a lot more dribbling here. There's sidestep 3-point shot as a center, 7-foot guy. I think he's like 6'10, 6'10, 6'11, something like that. Here he goes driving, looking, pulls up. There's no defense here, but it's just interesting that they're showing that this guy is in shape. He's playing basketball still. So it's somebody that we can call his number and see what he's doing. Maybe, like I said, a 10-day contract won't hurt us. So I mean, he took a 10-day contract with Denver. Denver already had the freaking MVP of the league. So what kind of minutes was he gonna get? He took 10-day contracts with the Clippers when they already had centers on their team already. So I mean, DeMarcus Cousins signs with weird players, with weird teams at times, man. But like a team like the Knicks actually can use him. So it would be interesting to see, if he gave the Knicks a chance at this point of his career. Yeah, man. So that's my takes there on the Knicks centers and stuff. Let me say hi to you guys, man. I see Trish D said a whole paragraph there. Got to get to some of this stuff there. Mike K. So let's start here. So I mean, he said Mitchell Robinson. Let me get rid of this. He says to me, Mitch Robinson don't take the game seriously. He acts like a little kid. It's okay for guys to enjoy the game and have a good spirit and stuff like that. But yeah, I agree with that. He doesn't take the game serious. He pouts and stuff on the court. He's not. I mean, he just doesn't engage the game like a man that should, especially at his position. People said, "Oh man, but he can't do everything. This, that, and the other." I said, "Listen, all he got to do is rebound, block shots, and dunk. That's all he does." So I got into a conversation with guys at work today, and they were talking about that. Yeah, man, but this, that, and the other. He does a lot for the team. No, he doesn't. He just rebounds, block shots, and dunks. That's it. Brunson, Julius Randle, those are the guys that should be crying about minutes, crying about being hurt, and that type of thing. Not Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson, for the most part, is just standing around. Yeah, for the most part, standing around. That's all he's doing. And that standing around is too much for him. I just don't get it. Especially with all the shit that he was talking this offseason. He's going to be like the defensive player of the year, or I'm going to be the best. I'm going to be the fastest center in the NBA. That's my goal. It's like, man, come on, man. Like, I mean, his priorities, his basketball mentality, everything is just so out of whack. But like I said, at the same time, this guy absolutely can help us. But I feel like we need to get somebody else a little bit better here. Like I said, Hartenstein, should be that guy. But he hasn't really, surpassed Mitchell Robinson. enough for you to really cap for him like that. All right, so Tristy said, but unlike the past season, at least he was producing this season. He's produced every season. He's produced the same way every season. I could pull up, Mitch Robinson's stats again. His stats have been exactly the same in his entire career. Nothing has really changed except the block shots earlier on. He had a high block shot percentage early on in his career, but that's because he was more athletic. Then he went and added all his weight, and then he slowed himself down. So it's just weird, man. This guy's still developing 5 years into his career, and he got paid already. We paid him, and he's still developing. It's unbelievable. So this is my man, Harlem CEO. He said once I saw he broke his finger, I knew you was gonna cook him. Absolutely, man. I mean, he deserves it. Listen, I'm a Knicks fan. I don't care about these players. I don't necessarily like any of them. You know what I'm saying. But at the same time, if you're on my club, I'm not gonna just mindlessly be like, oh my god, he's so great. When he's not. And there's things that need to be changed about his game that hasn't changed in 5 years. It's not like he's a second year player or a third year player. This guy is in his fifth year, and we paid him. You know what I'm saying? So at this point of his career, we need to see that development, that next level development in his game. 5 years, he should be lot more mature. He should be more smarter out there on the court, but he just isn't. So here we are making a podcast talking about Kristaps of all people. You know what I'm saying? That I think that time period is past of us hating on him. Now, as far as making the team better, I really think that him and Julius and RJ and Brunson, I think that would be a really good tandem there. He makes a lot of the money now, man. Like I said, he'll be a free agent, next year if he doesn't accept that offer, if he accepts his player option. You know what I'm saying? But in 2 more years, he'll get his pay cut and that type of thing. So then they'll keep the Knicks in the market to be able to get another player and stuff. But listen, I think getting Kristaps would definitely help that a lot. Mitchell Robinson coming off the bench when he's healthy, along with Hartenstein, and then I think that would help the bench out a lot. Going forward. The Knicks still have a lot of stuff to go through, man. So, like I see other people doing, what do you call, trade deadline stuff there. I'll probably do one. I usually do one during my watch along. I talk about all the stuff during the watch along, but I think I'm going to start devoting this time period about 10 o'clock or so to these little topics. Yeah, sorry, I clicked the wrong thing there, but yeah, just to devote myself to these topics and stuff. Let me see what else is going on here. You got Mike K. The thing is defensively, he's great. Top five center. Yeah, okay, I get that. Offensively, he has no game, nothing. That's a liability. Every time he gets the rebound, he turns around looking for somebody to help him. You know what I'm saying? And if he has an opportunity to score, it's always an erratic dunk or something like that. It's nothing that's solid. He doesn't have anything solid. But for people that want to argue that they'll say, oh, but he shoots like what, like 70% from the field. Let me see what Mitch Robinson is shooting right now. Mitchell Robinson, this year, he's let me get his percentages. Uh, this year he's shooting 67% from the field. From the field. Last year was 76. At one point he shot 74. So he's always for his career he's shooting 71% from the field. But the guy can't make a layup. He literally can't make a layup. And people want to argue with me on other channels every time I say that. But it's ridiculous, man. Shout out to Holcomb, man. What's good, my brother? Let me get some more of these stuff here. I would love to have him back too, man. I'm Geraldine. I'm sorry about that. Uh this was the second time he gave an interview before our last, and I'm saying how much he misses New York and the fans, stuff like that. See, listen, man. Once you go to another city and what like he was in New York, he was in the mecca of basketball. But like the fans cared. Like I literally went to DC to watch the Wizards and the Knicks play at the Capital One Center. Shout out to nothing but Nick. Shout out to Simeon Russell. Shout out to Steph. Steph, Dope Soul Sportsman. Queen Steph. Who else was there? Shout out to my man oh my god, I'm thinking of Andy. I'm thinking of everybody. But shout out to Your Blackest Time. I can't think of my man's name for some reason. I'm getting old. But there was a bunch of us there, and then like literally at all the restaurants around us, there was nothing but Knicks fans. Like literally Washington Wizards fans do not hang out at the arena. They don't show up early. You know what I'm saying? They don't go to the restaurants and stuff like that. The restaurant was filled with Knicks fans. And we were able to sit comfortably. It wasn't a crowded thing. Like I just went to the game against Toronto on Martin Luther King Day. It was a zoo. MSG was a zoo. Just getting in there, trying to go into the team store was a zoo. I didn't even I tried to, and me and my kids had to get out of there. Then going up to our seats is a zoo, and then leaving the arena is a freaking spectacle. Washington Wizards, like the fans just leave. There was like there was not one point leaving or any point in that experience where I felt that I was crowded, that there was too many people around me. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I'm just saying that because being in another city, these players now they see why the Mecca, Madison Square Garden is the Mecca. He sees how his opportunities were squandered now, by starting all that stuff with his brother, that he got himself traded out of New York. Now he's been to Dallas and now he's been to Washington, two different cities that are nothing like New York, man. So now he wants that back. He wants that feeling of belonging, feeling of that people care, that people are passionate about the game. That's what most of these European guys, they're used to that over there. How crazy the fans are. So with New York fans are still like that. All these podcasts and stuff like that talking about these players. So he misses that, obviously, man. So, I definitely would like to have him back, man. He makes, like I said, he makes 33 this year, 36 next year if he takes the offer. But it's still worth a thing because the Knicks need another scorer wherever we can get it. If it's Kristaps at the center spot, with Mitchell Robinson coming off the bench now and Hartenstein still in the mix, and that type of stuff, I think that would make us a lot better. We still need to get another perimeter player coming off the bench. I get that, but we can get that from somewhere, somewhere in like by giving up, second round picks and stuff like that to get these little $10 million players, that type of thing to fill in the roster. We could do that. Or we could just rely on some of the guys we already have on the roster, man. So, but just getting that one guy, whether it be a Kuzma, we keep talking about Kuzma, but we forget about Kristaps just standing right there, so it'll be interesting. So let me see. Mike K has a question. He said, "Question for KP is why did it not work out in Dallas?" Well, he was hurt a lot. That's one thing. He was hurt. He never was there available. He had no chemistry with Luca. Brunson kind of took over a little bit there too. Leading up to him leaving. So, there was a lot of factors there. KP can't create his own shot. That's another thing too. So if you're gonna have a two-man tandem, Kristaps gets exposed a lot. If you're relying on him to be that second guy. So Luca was basically by himself, especially when the time counted. Because like I keep saying, Kristaps really scores off the ball. He doesn't really score. During like plays. They don't run plays for him. They don't have isolation plays for Kristaps. The beautiful thing about it, the Knicks have RJ, the Knicks have Brunson, the Knicks have Julius. So those three guys can do the isolation stuff, and Kristaps can just get his 20 points off the what he normally has been doing his entire career, was playing off the ball and stuff. So so this Reggie Bullock stuff, I didn't really want to talk about Reggie Bullock because I thought that was laughable. They want to trade Cam Reddish for Reggie Bullock. The funny shit about that, if you look at the numbers, Reggie Bullock and my man Cam Reddish, they could be traded for each other straight up. I looked at all the trade checkers. If you put both of them in the trade checkers, they can be traded for each other straight up. That would be a catastrophe. Because at that point, I would just rather play Cam Reddish. Like what is the fascination with Reggie Bullock? And whatever. Like what would he bring to the squad? Right now, Reggie Bullock is having his worst seasons, one of his worst seasons in the NBA. As a starter for a winning club, he's having one of his worst seasons. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I just think it's just weird, man. Uh Trade for OG. I don't want KP back. Okay, cool. So I mean, the bottom line is OG. Like I said, OG's 25 years old. The guy hasn't really shown much. We played him twice recently, and he didn't really have too good of a game. So he might be a little overrated, man. I think people just talking about him because when it comes to two-way players, guys that can score at a decent clip as a starter and play really good defense, he's the only one. So there's nobody else to talk about. I cursed Mighty Finesse out the last pod for the watch along. It's like, yo, there's nobody else. So I mean, it's like, whatever. Damian Cox, what's good, my brother? He's bringing us some Liberty stuff, man. Hey, have you heard about the Liberty made trade for Jonquel Jones coming to the Liberty? Absolutely, man. I do have that Liberty channel. I haven't had a chance to really post anything there, but that's extremely big news because this girl, this young lady, I should say, Jonquel Jones, she's basically, people say Kevin Durant, but when it comes to the WNBA, it's not the men's game, so they don't score like 20 points a game. There's not a lot of 20-point a game scores over there. So if a young lady's scoring 16 or 14, that may as well be 20 in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a low scoring game, very physical and stuff like that. She could create her own shot. She could do everything, man. So that's a big look for the Liberty. They finally got a go-to player, and they didn't really trade much. They traded their first round pick. They traded I forgot her last name, but Rebecca. They traded her. They traded the young point guard that wasn't playing well for us, and they had to give up another power forward, which I can't get her name either. She was on Seattle. They traded the power forward that did well for us in the postseason. But you had to give up something to get something, man. So that's really a good deal for the Liberty there. Uh yeah, so I mean this guy mighty finesse. Like I said, he's my lifeline to the young people because like you said, Mitch is a beast. You got to look at the blocks. He's obviously trolling me because I literally said that a little earlier, man. People only look at certain things. Mitchell Robinson does not. Outside of that, if he's not doing that, then what does he do for you? Nothing. He doesn't do anything for you. So I'm done. I'm done with Mighty Finesse for a minute. Let me see. Let me see. Ronaldo Lawrence. He said, "Oh man, the president of the hate Mitch Hive." Yeah, man. I freaking don't listen. I keep saying that I value what Mitchell Robinson could do, but as far as you can see, he just got hurt again. Another almost damn near season-ending injury right here. Especially at a key time here going into the trade deadline and stuff like that. In the key part of the season where we really need to hold it down. For the rest of the year, he gets hurt, so we can't rely on him. So Mitchell Robinson should not be our starting center. We need to figure out a way to upgrade that. I didn't say trade Mitchell Robinson because Mitchell Robinson's on an awesome contract. So I'd rather keep him. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. Shout out to Trav. Yeah, Trav, I used your tweet there. Definitely a really good idea to bring this guy over here, man. I don't think it would cost much. Same. But the thing with San Antonio, I don't know what they're trying to do over there. I don't know what they would want to bring him over there, but this guy, he will be a really good player to start over Mitch, to tell you the truth. You know what I'm saying? Or if you was to get him, then you could think about trading Mitch and whatever, man. But it's interesting. Um, you know, Kristaps will be a little bit different because at least he can get that 20 points. He's a threat to score like that. So that's the only reason why I'm bringing up him. But Kristaps is paid like a scorer. This guy Jacob, is not paid like that. So somebody that we can probably snatch off of Houston. I mean, San Antonio. That'll be interesting. What else you guys are talking about? Yeah, 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 yeah. So why is it so hard for the Knicks to win without him? So you talking about Mitchell Robinson? So Mitchell Robinson, like I said, has already been out for a big portion of the year, and the Knicks did fine. You know what I'm saying? The Knicks did fine when Mitchell Robinson hurt. So I'm not worried about Mitchell Robinson being hurt. Listen, RJ was hurt too for a little while, and the Knicks were fine. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about those players, though. Mitchell Robinson is not the one that's making us win games, and all those little things there are stuff that annoys me because, like I said, we watch these games night in and night out. There's nothing that Mitchell Robinson does that says if we don't have Mitchell Robinson, we can't win. There's nothing that says that in any game because a lot of time he gets in foul trouble. A lot of time he's invisible. A lot of times, like you're talking about block shots. A lot of times he doesn't even get a block shot in the game. There's certain games he'll get 4 one game, he'll get 5 another game, and then he'll have some games where he'll get 0. You know what I'm saying? He'll get 0 block shots. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it is what it is, man. We can function without Mitchell Robinson for a little while. Of course, we need him on the roster. But like I said, it would be nice to get somebody a little bit better than him, or that has a distinguishing trait about them. That separates Mitchell Robinson from them. So who would you go after, Ero? Who would be your your top project? Uh, go after as far as like developing or as far as improving the roster. There's quite a few players, man, that we can if you comb the league trying to find somebody. But like I said, we definitely need a forward of some kind. There's been a couple shooting guards involved, but these guys like Malik Beasley and type like that. How much better are they than quickly? Coming off the bench. You know what I'm trying to say? So I mean, it would be like kind of a waste to get them. Jordan Clarkson, if he was to get him, Jordan Clarkson would have to be our starter. Grimes would have to be off the or he could come off the bench, be a bench scorer for us with Grimes starting. He can still do that. I mean, so that would help us a lot off the bench. and because we do need the bench scoring. But like I said, a couple other options too, real quick, is just like say like getting a Jay Crowder. That's obvious, right? A Robert Covington. But the thing about that, if we get Jay Crowder, I want to get Robert Covington too. Shout out to on the Wizards. They have what's my man's name? Yeah, I can always forget these guys' names. But he used to be on Denver. Man, I can't think of my man's name. But he used to be on Denver. He was on Denver for a lot of years, man. But he's actually on the Wizards. But the Wizards are not playing him. It's not because he's hurt or because he doesn't play well anymore. It's just a simple fact that he just they just don't use him. They don't want to play him. Just like the Knicks don't play Cam Reddish and don't play Fournier. Other teams do the same thing. So it's not only like something that the Knicks do. You know. Let me see what else. I got hunger for more. He said we have to get out and get OG from the Raptors. Yeah, man, you're right on the same plate as my man of a mighty finesse here. Yeah, I was trying to get Tony Crow out. I don't know why I couldn't get Tony Crow out of there. So Tony Crow's my guy. Definitely sleepy, man. My man's definitely been he's definitely super mellow in real life, man. Trish D says, I've gone over to Allen, Ali, and Bill across the street after a good one, and then Wally comes to the window. Not kidding. Yeah, those guys come out and take pictures. Shout out to Hard Will. Hard Will got a nice little picture with those two guys, man. So I mean, those guys are approachable. They're New Yorkers, man. So it's not a big deal to them, to them. Other people. Shout out to other content creators and other people that are in the media, man. They act like they're superstars. What I'm saying? To New Yorkers, they just regular people, just cool. Yo, what's good, man? And then Alahan and Wally, yo, I'm chilling. So that's just a New York thing to do. Uh, he didn't want to play center in Dallas. He wants to be a wing. Yeah, but time goes on, and right now, and with the Washington Wizards, they got Gafford playing center, and he was playing power forward. As time goes on, Kristaps is getting older, man. So he's gonna have to realize that the center is gonna be his spot for the time being, man. He is still very mobile and stuff like that. But if you want to win, especially playing with Tom Thibodeau and that type of thing, if he tells you you got to play center, you kind of just got to go with it, man. Because you look at the team and see how you fit, how the team could win. That's a whole different story there. Yeah. So Tibbs run the organization. All the conversation that anybody's gonna have when it comes to trades and stuff like that, Tom Thibodeau is gonna have to co-sign all of this. So if Leon Rose makes a trade, he better have Tom Thibodeau standing right there, or at least listening on the three-way, to make sure that the trade is the right trade to make. Because it's just annoying. They thinking OG is Kawhi. I get that, but I don't see that. Like I said, OG has everything. OG has he could score and this and the other, but it's just like RJ, very inconsistent. Not somebody that's because if he was consistent, why would they trade him? And that's something to think about too. Go get me, this guy OG. But if he was so good, then why would Toronto trade him? And they're going to trade him for who? Cam Reddish and a first round pick? It doesn't make any sense. You know. And so a couple people agree with this Kristaps take. You got Melpster 9. Knicks should bring him back. He learned his lessons. Same stuff you're talking about. The bottom line is that we definitely need another shooter. So he's definitely a good shooter. He only shoots 34%. It's about league average. So it is what it is. But the thing about it, he's mobile. Like I said, he could score 20 points without any plays called for him. So that's definitely something that we definitely need there. We need is Webster again. So we need a second scorer outside of Brunson. That's very important too. So I mean, there's so many different ways that we can go about this, man. So it's not just one scenario. Right now, this pod is kind of centered around the center. No pun intended. Kristaps, and I'm talking about Kristaps and a couple other players here too. So like I said, I'll get into more in depth for the other players as time goes on too. Shout out to the Knicks, man. The Knicks are playing tomorrow. Let me get their schedule up as a heads up for you guys. I will be doing a watch on. They're playing tomorrow. They're playing Atlanta, so I'm gonna be really fired up for that Atlanta game. And then we on Sunday we play Toronto again. That's on the 22nd. So I'm gonna be fired up for that. We definitely have to get revenge on that Toronto team because they beat us twice now. So we definitely gotta get that revenge in that game on the 22nd. So we play Atlanta, definitely a must win, and so is Toronto. These losses, we had two losses back to back, so we definitely got to clean that up and get two wins back with Cleveland, the Boston coming in here, and excuse me, the Brooklyn Nets and the Lakers to round out the month. Miami's coming right after that too, man. So it's gonna be a tough schedule. So the next two games, we absolutely have to win the next two games, or we're gonna look like we're gonna be looking at on the outside of this playoff run, man. So definitely important. Let me keep scrolling here. So shout out to Melpster, man. He's definitely impacting the comment section there. So Traby Ryan, yes, it's Will Barton. I couldn't get his name out for nothing, man. But Will Barton is a guy that's dangling. If I'm quite sure that we could probably pluck him off their roster. They're not using him. So let's say like a Jay Crowder, Will Barton, and a Robert Covington. Robert Covington makes a little bit of money though. A matter of fact, they all do. But if it was possible to make a trade to get all three or at least two of those guys, I think that would be beneficial too. Because we just need guys on the off the bench that's going to help us out a little bit. Right now we have nobody. You know what I'm saying? Here goes a mighty finesse. A mighty finesse wants to be the star of the show. So Evil wants a wash players, but Almighty finesse just wants to troll me every episode. So it is what it is. We got Mark Broyce. He said Kristaps does not want to play the center position because he knows he's fragile and his body cannot handle it. It's a different story now. I mean, he had his injuries. He's definitely got stronger. Different player. He's very aware of himself now. He's not crossing guys over like he did before. If you notice in the two games that he played against the Knicks, he didn't make not one crossover move. No step back moves, no crossovers. It's just him head fakes. Step and shoot. He plays like a shooting guard. He plays like Klay Thompson for Christ's sake. You know what I'm saying? So at 7'2". So all that crossover stuff and wild dunks, jumping off of one leg and landing awkwardly, he doesn't do that anymore. So he's very, he learned how to preserve himself, in his older self here. You know what I'm saying? So I think Kristaps will do fine. Mitch Robinson is still learning that, learning how to protect his body, keep himself healthy out there so he can be available for us when we need him. You know. So Tristy, shout out to Tristy. Tristy's always contributing to the chat, man. He says, Tiz was against Cam. Yes, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with you saying there. Definitely, I just don't agree with the trade at all. I just think it's a bad idea. Let me see what else you guys are saying. I'm very behind on these chats here. Shout out to Canal, man, the first moderator on Die Hard Knicks. He says, "What about IQ Cam I Heart to the Wiz for Barton, Gibson, and this year's for hell's no." Man. The last thing we need is to bring Taj Gibson back, man. He's gonna be playing 40 minutes a game, So that's something that's the reason why I say hell no, because getting Gibson back would just make that's a crutch for Tom Thibodeau. We're gonna see Taj Gibson playing heavy minutes if he does come here. Taj Gibson still got it, man. He learns a couple new post moves, but he's just too old now. He can't really implement it, the way that he would want to because he's just older now. So if he had those post moves, maybe like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, that might have been a different story. But he's old now, man. My man Bryce, he's still talking here. He's talking about Jericho Sims. So he's gonna get his opportunity. Jericho Sims played well earlier in the year, to get in the good graces of Tom Thibodeau. So he played well earlier. So I mean, he's just gonna have to do it again. Hartenstein played well early in the year too. They just got to do it again. They absolutely could hold it down, man. So making a trade for a center might be a little bit, wishful thinking. But I'm just trying to figure out a way how we can get better, man. Because we definitely have to get better. We got Brunson doing everything. Julius Randle got exposed with the height of Kristaps, guarding him. He basically locked him up. You know what I'm saying? Scoring wise, basically locked them up. So what do we do if Julius has that off game? Or if we're playing against a team that just knows how to lock Julius up, how do we take advantage of that? Because RJ, he does what he does, but RJ is not a guy you can give the ball to and tell him to get you a bucket. You know what I'm saying? He's a guy that can get buckets, but he's not a guy that you can give the ball and say, "Hey, go get me a bucket." You know what I'm saying? It's a whole different dynamic to that. Brunson could get buckets, man, but I mean, if he goes down, we're dead. You know what I'm saying? If Brunson goes down like that, on an injury or something like that, and then they lock up Julius, we're just done. We're dead. We have no shot because there's nobody else that we could draw to get points. Mike K keeps bringing up Hayward from Charlotte, which is a good idea. I think it's a good idea because he could play power forward and small forward coming off the bench. He could shoot, he could create, so he would bring something that we can use. Cam, he says Cam Fournier an iHeart to Charlotte for Haywood in the first round. It's possible, it's definitely possible. He's a player that's been dangling. The whole Charlotte roster is available, to tell you the truth. So shout out to Scary Terry over there. He's definitely available. Quite a few players on that roster could be probably taken at this point. But Scary Terry might be an option. We need another scorer coming off the bench, but we already got IQ, so it's interesting to talk about players like that, man. But here goes another hell no. I can almost hear State's voice. That's how State responds to everything. Hell no. And they always accompany with something disrespectful. But it is what it is. I like iHeart. He's too soft. I wouldn't call him soft. He just not him. You know what I'm saying? Like Mitchell Robinson, just because he can make a power dunk doesn't mean that he's a beast. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. We're talking about two players that are just basically situational role players, to tell you the truth. Not major anchors out there that's going to make such a big difference on the team. You know what I'm saying? They do have their job. They do stuff that help the team out. But they're like, if they're not there, you're not gonna totally miss it. You're not gonna be like, damn, son, I wish we had this guy. Nobody's ever gonna say that. Uh yeah, man. So that's it. So that's all. I just want to get some thoughts out here. This is kind of like a pilot episode here. So I kind of like the time frame, 10 o'clock or whatever. Like I said, I can get my stuff done. I can actually interact with my family a little while, tuck my kids into bed, talk to my wife a little bit before I start doing these pods. So look out for your boy Ebro at 10 o'clock, man. So the next time I might do something like this. Uh let me get this schedule up here. So the Knicks play tomorrow. Then you're talking about Saturday. Saturday I probably won't be available. Sunday the Knicks play. I'll be doing a watch along. Shout out to Monday next week. Monday. Then you got Wednesday and also Friday. So look out for your boy on any of those days, man. Like I said, I'll post stuff in the community tab, and just if you subscribe to the channel, just be on the lookout for more posts for when stuff comes out. Of course too, man. Shout out to Mike. Let me get Mike K here really quick so guys can know who I'm talking about. This is Mike K. Mike K's been asking me to do call-ins, so I will be doing that, man. So I'm not gonna do it today because it's kind of like a pilot thing. So next week when I do one of these things, I'll have the lines available so you guys can call in and we can I can really start interacting with you guys. If there's any preferred platform that you guys like to use, like they have Twitter Spaces. I was thinking about putting Twitter Spaces on here. I've done it before, but Twitter Spaces gets a little bit hectic. You know what I'm saying? It's like almost like high school in that type of environment. So I don't know if I want to do that again. But there's various different ways to incorporate you guys to be more part of the show. But next week, like I said, like 10 o'clock is gonna be my time. I'm gonna start coming on here putting out stuff at 10 o'clock just so I can get more interaction from you guys. More than just the chat. If you guys want to call in, you can call in and we could chop it up that way. So anyway, shout out to everybody. Shout out to Melston9, and definitely contributing to the chat, man. Um, at least they won the Mavs trade. Yeah, you're talking about the Knicks. Um, yeah, definitely, man. It's an ongoing process, but the Knicks definitely won that. Shout out to Canal. He says Rose for Caruso. That's perfect there. But Caruso, I don't, Caruso will be dope. You're talking about a guy that could defend from the point guard spot coming off the bench. That's what everybody been talking about. But a veteran defender, Patrick Beverly keeps coming out. But Patrick Beverly is always the go-to guy. Same thing like OG. My man Almighty Finex keeps calling out OG. People keep calling out Patrick Beverly. You know what I'm saying? He's old now. But what's the name? Caruso is basically the same player, except Caruso will bang it on you. You know what I'm saying? He'll play good defense. Very good team player. So if he was to get Caruso, that would be freaking awesome. He's definitely somebody that could be plucked off that Bulls roster because they're going nowhere. So there's a lot of things to think about. When it comes to this building up the roster and stuff like that. So just keep an open mind. Don't listen to every rumor, but don't listen to it. Take it with a grain of salt. But at the same time, just it's for conversational purposes. Everything is up for grabs, man. So don't be surprised. There's always that move that nobody talked about that always happens. So like I said, don't be surprised when things happen. Shout out to Savvy D, that's my guy. Uh and everything else here, man. So without further ado, man, let's get up out of here. It's your boy Eru. Shout out to Trav that came in here contributing to the chat. Let me see if I can get Trav here. All right, since I can't do that, let's just put him up here like this, man. So this is Trav B. Ryan right here. Click his page. This is the young man that contributed to the not contributed. He created the Die Hard Knicks theme song, man. So that'll be playing for the outro right now. So without further ado, like I said, 4 fingers to the forehead, tucking the thumb, salute. That's what the diehards do. And I'll see you guys next time, man. Once again, like I said, take a look for that 10 o'clock slot. I'll be doing pods at 10 o'clock. Also, the watch alongs, keep an eye out for the watch alongs. I'll definitely do watch alongs for every single game. Some I might be late, some might be halftime to crunch time, but I do watch alongs for every Knicks game. And like I said, 10 o'clock, I'll start doing these little pods here at 10 o'clock so I can start interacting with you guys a little bit more going forward throughout the year. So anyway, we out of here, man. Peace.
Eru, I see you. Die hard. Trap. We gonna do this one the right way. We in here forever. Yeah. Die hard, homie, die hard. You can check the swag, he the realest by far. Swimming in that blue and orange, he the lifeguard. Yeah, he been through pain, at least he got some nice scars. He can smell a trophy, yeah, you need it back to back. Represent himself, his own name is on his back. 10 toes down, try to stop him, he come back. Bandwagon hoppers, he will knock you off your tracks. You ain't saying nothing, Nero been here from the start. He been working in the lab to take his team and make it art. See him going over film to help him build and make him smart. He will tell you how he feels because he's real and he got heart. He will never fade away, he will never change his face. Everybody picking faves, and he's feeling out of place. Cause he is for the team, man, he always rep the squad. Like that Christmas movie, he gon' always die hard. City on my back. They ask me what's my name and it's on my back. I'm just speaking facts. We got big dreams, we ain't looking back. We be really die hard, yeah, that's a fact. We be really die hard, ain't no going back. Make the whole crowd rise like a thermostat. Fourth quarter, I'm the killer.